Empathy is one of the most beautiful things in this world. It creates connection, clears away conflict, and reduces emotional pain. It's a healing balm for any lonely and troubled heart, and a crucial skill to have for every single person on this planet. Whether you're a leader, a coach, a parent, a coworker, or a friend to someone, stay tuned to find out how you can increase and express empathy in your relationships. Hey everyone, I'm Maika, and this is Becoming an Expert at Self-Leadership, the channel all about flourishing in life. Today I want to talk about empathy. Empathy is the magic that happens when we make the effort to understand someone else's feelings, perspective, and experience. Being understood makes others feel seen, valued, heard, and it gives them strength. When someone reacts with empathy, it gives the other person the space to really open up without the fear of being judged. And that, on the other hand, creates closeness and trust, and it deepens relationships. And although empathy is magic, you don't have to be a wizard to manifest it. Empathy is a skill that we can practice. And once we know how it works, it's really not that hard. I'd like to start this video out by discussing what empathy is not, what a non-empathic reaction can look like, and then get to 5 ways of expressing true empathy. What empathy is not. Empathy is not feeling sorry for someone. It's truly being there for them by giving them emotional and mental support. Empathy is also not being swallowed up by someone else's feelings. There's definitely a resonance between what they're feeling and the part in us that knows that feeling, but it doesn't mean losing contact to the rest of our being and experience. Empathy stays grounded in our own strength and resilience. There's a video on this channel about that, so if you want to hear more, I'll link it up here. Empathy is also not knowing what the other person is going through because we've gone through exactly the same thing. We can be empathic even if we've never experienced anything like what the person is going through. And even if we've experienced something similar, it's important to keep in mind that everyone's experience is always different and individual. And the most important point on this list of what empathy is not decreasing our own discomfort by minimizing what the other person is going through. These are reactions like, well, at least you still have your job, or you'll get over it, or wait till you hear what happened to Susan. Empathy means to be willing to open up to someone else's perspective, especially when what they are going through is uncomfortable. How to be empathic. Number 1, listen. First and foremostly, empathy is a listening skill. And I think the reason that empathy is relatively rare is because it seems so unspectacular and easy. Don't other forms of reaction seem so much bigger and better? Isn't it a lot more effective to come swooping in with that one piece of advice that solves everything? Or isn't it better to take the person's mind off of their problems by sharing a story of something similar that happened to you? And sure, sharing advice and stories can be helpful and they have their place, but not before empathy. Empathy needs to come first and to be given the proper space. And since empathy means to understand someone else's perspective, reacting empathically means reacting in a way that allows you to gain that understanding. And the way we can do that is by listening. This means to let the other person talk, to show that you're listening with your body language and something called social grunting, which are these noises that we make that show that we're listening, like, It means putting aside the commentary of your mind, not judging the other person like, well, you're such a whatever, or blaming them like, it's your own fault. This happened to you because you did this or that. It's taking on the mindset of someone who's learning. It's entering that interaction knowing that you don't know. The way our mind pays attention is that it looks for the things that we already know to confirm what we already know. And empathy requires an openness to be surprised. Otherwise, we might miss important points of the other person's experience and perspective. So enter the interaction ready to be surprised, to hear something that you didn't expect to hear, and to just be open to whatever it is the other person is sharing. Number 2, ask for elaboration. So empathy is not just about being silent and listening, it's also making even more room to truly understand by asking for elaboration on things that are unclear to you. That way you can understand the situation in even more depth. You can do this by asking things like, what do you mean when you say XYZ? Or what was going through your mind when that happened? What did you feel when that happened? Number 3, paraphrase. So from time to time, you can summarize what you've understood so far, and then ask the other person to either confirm, correct, or add on to that. And again, this deepens your empathy because it deepens your understanding of the situation. You can start a paraphrase with sentence beginnings like, I'm hearing you say that, or so you're saying that. Tell me if I understood. If I understood correctly. Did I get it right that? Or so from your experience, you would say. Number 4, verbalize. This is something you can do to bring even more empathy into a conversation when you get the sense that there's something that isn't being addressed, when the conversation is on just the level of the facts and the flow of the story without addressing the person's experience and feelings. And verbalizing means to express the feelings and needs you hear the other person saying in the tone of their voice, their body language, or the things that they're hinting at without saying directly. And a verbalization can start with sentence beginnings like, it sounds like you're really upset about this. That must have been emotionally challenging. You seem really disappointed. I assume you're feeling, I have the impression that, or so what you want is for your perspective to be included in that decision. So you're bringing to the table what you are sensing the other person is feeling or needs. And you don't have to worry about getting it wrong too much. Verbalizing isn't about reading minds and correctly guessing what someone else is going through. It's more about just opening the conversation to that dimension. Giving that sign of interest and care that encourages the other person to open that level of their experience up to you, knowing that you're all in to hear what they have to say on that level. Number 5, validate. So what validating does, it allows the other person to feel safe with you, to really open up, knowing that you're not going to judge their reaction to the situation. It allows the other person to feel okay with their authentic thoughts and feelings and not feel like they shouldn't be feeling what they're feeling or thinking what they're thinking. And that in the face of everything they're going through, their reaction makes sense to you and is understandable and, from what you can tell, natural. And sentence beginnings for a validation could be, most people would, it's okay to be upset. It's natural to feel this when that happened. I understand why you feel that way. this is a challenging situation, and the main message of a validation is that's understandable. So these are 5 tools you can use to express and increase empathy in your relationships. Let me know how it goes if you try any one of them, or how it's gone for you in the past if you've tried these before. And if this is the first video you're watching on this channel and you would like to see more like this, remember to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And you can really support this channel by leaving a comment, a like, and sharing the video with your friends and family. Till next time, take care, and remember that with empathy, it's less the shiny and flashy reactions that are helpful, and more the quiet ones that facilitate closeness.